comic that's used anglerfish as a form of merfolk. It's actually the second kind of merfolk the encounters encountered in that.
Ascent on the windless slope of the western side. The setting sun was an inflamed eye squeezing shut against the light shone in by the doctors. My neck is aching through constantly craning my head up to track the light of the aerial. I must look downwards, follow the path under the island to a new beginning.
And we look up with these fine windows and window seating God is gracious with, and no, we look down, we're down on this fine carpet God has provided with us.
God, this
there is a cabin.
I think it's not a cabin in the woods.
No, it's a cabin on a really steep hill.
By then, shepherding had formalized.
This poor man's knees must be killing him.
The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
Black Phillip strikes again?
Apparently the white lines on the cliff were not quite as effective as they'd hoped.
These false dawns waking into the still never light. I sweat for you in the small hours and wrap my blankets into a mass. I've always heard the waves break on these lost shores, always the gulls forgotten.
You sit in the corner and think about what you did, apparently.
And all there ever is for me is this Hebridean music.
That answered that question.
Of course the ghost got Tom next to you. You've got no chips.
But then who's gonna feed Kevin?
So Kevin.
No, wait, if he doesn't have any chips, the gulls aren't going to bother him.
They bother him on principle.
Okay, it's paint. I wasn't sure if that was just a huge-ass container of salt. I would be nervous living on a cliffside like this.
So the cliffside looks pretty decently away from the coast, so the only risk is making sure you don't trip over.
Yeah, don't go on a bender and then go outside.
I hope you don't sleepwalk.
Exactly.
I'm gonna drink a turnip juice and I'm gonna hanker myself to the bed. Because I don't quite hate myself that much.
One thing I've learned about myself, it takes a lot to get me actually drunk.
Ah!
Climbing
Ow.
down the caves, I slipped and fell
My
and sprained
knees!
my leg.
Oh, I got an achievement for that. Died from falling off the cliff once.
The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves.
This poor protagonist.
Drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Is this guy's last name Finch?
That's a good question. I am the last remaining member of the Finch line.
My mother was Edith Finch. Damn, she had a story to tell me.
I can't live up to turning into a cat and flying over a swing set and...
Look, I can't live up to getting run over by a train 3 seconds after I exit from a wall.
I don't know how to sail a house on the ocean. It's still bailing out of the water from my basement. This place feels like it's missing sheep.
Mm.
The sheep were... Remember, the sheep are the smart things.
Yep.
Yeah. And Missy, this is an isolated island, so chances...
You'd have to bring the sheep here.
Yeah.
And pray that there aren't any predators.
It doesn't look like there's anything on this island.
Eh?
I mean, the lack of any fauna whatsoever would suggest, yeah, there are no predators because there's nothing for them to predate.
Mm.
The only thing that possibly could be here, like insects, just pollinate all the plants.
Yeah. So, yeah, you'll get a few insect predators and such, but, yeah, as far as anything that's designed to take on, oh, say, groundhog or bigger, probably not going to see too much of that here.
Mm.
The only reason you should get a cat is because someone brought one.
I mean, cats are an invasive species.
Because thanks to sailing, mice became an invasive species.
Keep your cats indoors, people.
Yep. And spay and neuter.
I don't care. I don't care how bored you think they are. Keep the cats indoors.
And spay and neuter.
Get them toys. Get them something to scratch because they scratch the furniture. I watch them scratch the furniture still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you put down double-sided tape or something. They're going to scratch the furniture.
Yeah. And get plenty of boxes. Don't even bother with the fancy cat tree. Just get the box.
Get something that's elevated. You want something that's taller than you. Cats will love that. Which I had to fix. I had to fix the cat shelves in the living room. They finally came loose from the wall, so I had to re-drill new holes and put new anchors in.
Ooh.
It's like a 5-minute job.
Thanks to having so much to do at work because it's the quiet period, and found myself watching quite a few cat videos. It's the amount of times we see them with hammocks that are stuck to the window, and it's, ooh, what's this? Doing, doing, down to go!
Yep. Well, that's suction cups don't tend to work that well.
In one case, it's they chewed for the cord that held it up.
Eh.
And every now and again, there's a washing basket. They just, ooh, what's that flap?
Or those somewhat taller vertical trash cans.
Mm-hmm.
I have a clothes hamper that's about 3 feet tall. The cats love to just jump from the floor into that clothes hamper.
Ah!
Yeah.
Come back.
I'm like Tails.
Okay.
I never die.
It's like playing Mario Kart. There must be a Lakitu around here fishing you out of the hole.
Oh no, not $5.
And speaking of cats, there are 2 cats that live in this house, and today, I had an appointment with my ISP to get actual fiber lines installed. because they are because this was a mandatory thing, because they are phasing out everything else. They are mandating that everyone be on fiber now, which is way overdue, really. But you know how that goes. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to keep my cats from trying to bolt out the door every time the guy leaves and all that. Now, I didn't have to worry about that, because as soon as the new person showed up, both the cats turned into the biggest goddamn cowards. One hid behind a bookshelf, the other one hid under a bed. And wouldn't leave until the guy did.
Sounds like every time my housemate has the RP or board game group over. 4 cats, they go into hiding.
You know, it won't be long before your room becomes one of their hiding spots.
Not if I keep my door closed.
Yeah, you'll slip up one day. You'll go to you'll leave your room to go to the bathroom and not quite close the door. And you're going to come in and think, something's out of place. And not find it until the cat comes out from under the bed or behind the bookshelf or what have you.
I already have one of the cats apparently trying to make a nest down by the other side of my bed that's by the wall. I told them to get out when I saw them jump down there, and they got stuck trying to come out because I got a mattress against them between the bed and the wall because it's not covered of it yet. After so many years. Yes, I'm a slob.
You have one cat that has basically said, yep, I'm comfortable around you enough to make it, to try to set up sleeping spots there.
Yeah, they aren't getting it.
Yet. They are cats. They are inevitable.
They're inevitable. When I start giving them a fuss, they don't stop moving. If you want your head scratching, stay still.
See, what I've learned with cats is they're trying to move their head around. If you just keep your fingers still and keep scratching, they will move their itchy spots to your fingers.
Until the other one or the third one comes along, because they have the fear of missing out.
At the very edge of despair, when I thought I would never unlock the secret of the island, I sat at the edge and I watched the idiot boy blink through the night. He's mute and he's retarded, and he has no thought in his metal head but to blink each wave and each minute aside until the morning comes and renders him blind as well as deaf mute.
Yeah, that's what that is.
In many ways, we have much in common.
You know, if he's assigning human attributes to the buoys, I think he needs help. Or at least an actual person to talk to every now and then. Then again, it could be to just be like Dylan Hollis and his plant.
Yeah.
Now, if there are any pluses or the latest movies coming out this year on those bloody containers. Oh my god, it's Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's the original movie Sonic the Hedgehog design.
Ugh.
That would explain why no one's bothered to come look for this one.
We wouldn't have got any pluses, we damn well know. That was just an experimental case of, yeah, no one's going to buy this, produce it more like in the games and we'll be fine.
I'm personally a fan of the theory that they did that on purpose to get more people talking about it.
Right. Because there's no way they redid an entire film with the new design in that short amount of time.
Yep.
Crunch time or no. And people going, oh, fan interpretation, fan influence changed it. No, they played you. They played you good.
Yep. I mean, I will say that those movies were better than they had any right to be.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much the same opinion like Puss in Boots, The Last Wish then.
Yep.
I still haven't seen that. It's on my list, I just haven't gotten around to it.
It's one of the films that's ever in my list of films to recommend to people.
Yep.
And I generally don't try to recommend films to people because different taste and whatnot. It's kind of, I like it. You may like it, you may not. It's like how I think it's 2009's Ink. That's a film worth checking out. It's like I put it in sort of the same sort of thing, same sort of deal as the first Matrix movie, like Dark City was. Just darker. And one scene which we do not need lantern seeing.
I mean, the first Matrix movie is pretty much universally liked.
It just were unable to capture it for every other sequel.
Yeah, the sequels were a letdown.
I liked the third one for the action, and that was about it. Mind you, we started getting into Dragon Ball Z territory towards the end. This is ridiculous. Admittedly, the Animatrix that came between the first and second films were good.
They were good, but they were a little weird.
They were all over the place, and I think it's the second Renaissance, 1 and 2, and the final one that basically a group of humans trying to turn one of the machines to their side with their own version of the Matrix. They disturbed and freaked me out.
Mm-hmm.
I love the blip. You.
But as far as them going into DBZ territory with how over the top the fights got, considering what was going on in those movies,
they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
but yeah, the DBZ nature of Matrix fights, considering that they weren't fighting in any place that used the laws of physics once you understood how things worked.
We found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. He'd struggled halfway down the cliff path, perhaps looking for some lost goat, or perhaps in delirium, and expired.
The goat ran away with a pig that it was duct taped to.
Even the animals shunned his corpse. The mainlanders thought to bring it home unlucky. Donnelly claims they dragged it to the caves to thaw out and rot, but he is proving an unreliable witness.
Our first experience with the Animatrix was catching one of the features on the MTV channels. I think it was called Glitz. It was just a similar thing about a little glitch in the system that people were checking out. Last Flight of the Osiris, basically the important one. for connecting the movies. That's okay.
Is there a radio or something nearby?
I was questioning the same thing. It's like, what, are there sirens about?
Radio? What's wrong with that radio? Again, you're talking about other things more than what me. Stop it.
Pay attention to me.
You're late.
Hi, Blackjack. You missed all the cat talk.
Blackjack is about late for the last 2 of these sessions now.
You're slacking, cat.
Although, to be fair, he was hiding under a bed.